UltraCycling Magazine. And the show we
Hello, everybody. My name is Grinshina, and welcome to the UltraCycling Magazine. I'm reporting from Bangalore, India, and in this edition, we have Ashish Deo as our guest. He is originally from Nagpur, an information communication specialist who's relocated to Japan, and currently living in Tokyo along with his wife and daughter. So, welcome to the show, Ashish. Recently, he's an ultra cyclist who's covered a lot of mileage, like 30,000 kilometers in the last 2.5 years, and he's completed a super randomness series in Japan. So that's quite interesting, and I'm curious to know how it is in Japan versus India. So, and his most recent exploit has been completing the Deccan Clifhanger race in India, and he's completed it in the solo, self-supported format, and uh, he's Ram finisher. So, welcome to the show, Ashish. So, let's start with how you got into ultra cycling in the first place.
Yeah, first, thanks, Grinny, for having me in this interview and introducing my overall cycling journey from last 2.5 years in a short span. So, thanks for that. Yeah, basically, as you said, I am based in Tokyo for last 12 years, and 2.5 years back, I entered into this world of cycling. I think around this COVID era, we didn't have any kind of a lockdown, but it was called emergency. So we were free to go alone. And that's where I started my cycling journey. And then eventually I picked up more on the cycling, developed a lot of interest. And then starting with 25, 30 kilometers overall, I moved to more than 600 kilometer at one go kind of for the cycling. So that's how I
So, when
started
you
my overall
started,
journey.
cycling, were you like never a cyclist earlier, or was it like completely new to you? How did that happen?
Yeah, cycling I did in my childhood. It's like going to school and all that. But after that, I didn't do any cycling. Rather, before cycling, I was doing running, hiking, trekking, and running. I did couple of marathons, from half marathons to 30-kilometer max. I didn't participate full marathon, and also I did some relay races, which were like sprint kind of for 42 kilometers type. But eventually I was having some injuries like runner's knee and all that, and I felt like maybe I need to look for something else, example cycling, and then I started with the cycling. So that is where I didn't stop running at all. I still run, like, but short distance. But then I developed a lot of passion for cycling.
Yeah. So, along with your passion for cycling, I heard that you also created a large group of cyclists who could
Yeah, yeah.
pursue their passion in cycling in Tokyo.
Yes,
So, tell us
yes,
about
yes.
that as well.
Yeah. So we were a couple of friends who used to go together for riding, like going early morning and so on. And we felt like we need to have more like riders, more cycle enthusiasts to join with us. So we named a small group called Indian Cyclist of Tokyo, called ICT. So you can see this T-shirt with a logo of Japan and India. That's what our ICT logo. So we started with that, but that actually attracted many cyclists, and right from 3 4 riders, now we are almost 100. We have a Facebook group. We are listed on Indian Embassy, and in fact I was called 2 3 times for events to go, like, to share some experience, do the speech. And also we conducted two bigger events, like one was for Indian Embassy for completing 75 years of freedom, which was participated by more than 72 cyclists. And recently we conducted a cycle ICT Cyclothon 2023. uh, Almost 22 riders were there, finishing from 50 to 200 kilometers in Tokyo. So we kind of created a cycling group or community for Indian cyclists in Tokyo. And one of the reason also we wanted this, because there is a lot of information required for cycling, like which cycle to buy, which routes to go, and the language is a barrier for many. So this group started helping each other in a more social way. So that was one of the reason, and I'm driving this group now as a co-founder.
That's wonderful. So are you the first Indian super randonneur from Japan?
I never thought of that, but should be, because I never heard any Indian finishing super engineer. With me, one of my friend, his name is also Ashish. His surname is Takawli. He also finished with me.
Okay.
But I didn't hear anyone doing SR in Japan
Mhm.
as an Indian.
Okay. So tell
Maybe
us,
I'll find it out more. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, tell us about the SR series and particularly about the Mount Fuji climb that you had to do.
Yes.
That was part of the SR series, is it?
No, that is a super good race with 7,000 cyclists coming across
Okay.
Japan. And
Hmm.
that race is very tough because it is from the base. Mount Fuji is 3,400-meter, and fifth station is at 2,300-meter. So this race starts at the ground level to finish at 2,300, and it's 25-kilometer only climb. There is no like straight or anything, no coming down. It's all going
Yeah.
up in the mountain, continuous climb, and that I participated with few of ICT members, and uh, I could finish with better timing, not so good, but better timing. So that was a real good achievement in Japan, and very very known kind of a formal race in Japan.
Nice.
And SR
And
series, there are brevets and SR is happening. There is a Odex Japan, and they have different groups. Those are conducting across different cities. Like I participate through Tokyo group, as well as there is an other city called Chiba. So I participated through that. There is a 10 months of tenure. You have to finish all 200, 300, 400, 600 all rights. So I did that one by one, and before that also I did some brevets like 200, 300. But this was one series I did, and eventually achieved this SR this year itself,
oh, so that
before
was
DC.
in 2023.
Yeah, started in 2022 post November,
Okay.
one ride, and then all three rides in 2023. One of the reason also, if I have to go for DC, which was Deccan Clifhanger 643 kilometers, and for me it was especially challenging because whatever cycling I started in Japan. So Japan has a very structured kind of environment for cycling. From Indian scenario, it's quite safe. So traffic situations and all. So I had no experience of riding in Japan before DC, and when I kind of applied for self-supported, almost 70% people said you should not go. It's very risky. You will have
And
problems,
these
and
people were from India or
India,
Japanese riders?
India,
Oh, okay.
India, and
Because
even
they're not
some
used
Japanese
to riding
riders.
here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Even some Japanese riders warned me, Ashish, do you know, and all that. Have you had any ride in India? I said, I am quite confident. One of the reason for self-supported, because it was very difficult for me to organize crew sitting there. One or two friends might join, but it's like crew. You need 4 5 people. You need to arrange vehicle, and I'm in Japan. There is no crew. It's more or self-supported. Brevets are like that. So I was more confident to go for self-supported, being on myself, than looking for someone and managing all that with. So
extra
moreover, I
hassles.
went for that. Yeah, but at the same time, I knew there were a couple of challenges. Like I had no experience of riding this long distance through traffic, through different road conditions, and no dedicated tracks and all that. But eventually, I finished it up. Maybe I could have finished 3 hours before if I have avoided some long breaks. But I finished in 36 hours, which was criteria for RAM qualification, because RAM qualification cutoff was 37 hours. So in a way, for me personally, it was an achievement. And one thing came out of that which I never knew is, from Nagpur, originally born and brought up in Nagpur, there is no one who has finished self-supported in DC before. So
Wow.
then my name got as a first guy finishing from Nagpur, although based in Japan, for this
Yeah.
RAM qualification in DC. So there are two good achievements now I can cherish and enjoy.
That's wonderful. So tell us why you chose to race in India. So I'm sure there are a lot
Yeah.
of RAM qualifiers even in Japan or Korea
Mm.
or countries closer to Japan.
Yeah, maybe countries closer to Japan there might be, but RAM qualification, I have not heard much in Japan. To be very frank, it might be there because it's not like it won't be there in Japan. Maybe I'll search, but Deccan Cliffhanger came to me quite easily because this information came to me through friends, and I know few guys who did it in the past. Because I am also part of a group called Miles and Milers. Dr. Amit Samarth, he runs that, and I'm connected to many guys who have done crew supported in DC. So I was
Mhm.
quite curious that one day I should do that, uh,
Okay.
whatever challenges are there. So that information was quite handy, and it was easy to communicate and discuss and understand the overall scenario. And second thing is, I wanted to come to India by end of December, and my boss agreed for remote working. So then I thought, okay, it's a good combination. I do the race, finish the race,
Yeah.
then do some work, stay with my family, parents here, and then go back to Japan. So that was a kind of a combination I could create with this. So that was the
Nice.
reason mainly. I don't know. I'll search in Japan, but I did not hear much about RAM qualification in Japan so far. Maybe
So
it is
you
there.
have your eyes set on RAM pretty quite soon then.
Yeah, I mean, RAM is a big thing. 5,000 kilometers is not a short distance, and it needs a lot of preparation. So, but having qualification makes you start thinking positively. But
Yes.
eventually, soon or later, that's the point. And
Mhm.
secondly, 643 kilometer from Pune to Goa for Deccan Cliffhanger is one thing, but at least 1,500, 2,000 kilometers of LRM experience is needed. So I am looking for some long LRMs in coming months in Japan, because I'll be back
Um,
by first week of January in Japan, and then I have planned to go for some long distance like 1,500 kilometers or LRM, build my
mhm.
confidence, prepare well, and
Yeah.
then think of massive RAM race.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And
Yeah.
so tell us how you went about with your preparation for the Deccan Cliffhanger race.
Yes. So as I have been, so two things. One is I did brevet, and brevet and the Deccan Cliffhanger format was almost same, because you have checkpoints. You have to reach to those, like you have to be there before the cutoff, get the sign off, and then move forward. So that was the kind of a format which brevet had, and exactly same format I had in Deccan Cliffhanger, being self-supported. So that was one thing, and I was like in a mindset of at least do 400 kilometers of ride so that I can do 600. But when I finished 400, I thought, why not do 600 and get the SR? So I am well prepared for DC. So
Yeah.
just 2 months before I finished 600, to 2.5 months or so, and then I got this DC prepared. And second important thing is, I got a very good coaching from Dr. Amit Samarth, and yeah, I got good training, like training activities, like how in incremental way I should prepare myself, not only cycling but do the strength training, do
Progressions.
the stretching and all that. Yeah, so it's not just about being paddling, it's about preparing around the cycling. So that I all got from Dr. Amit Samarth.
Sorry, you're breaking up a bit.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. I think in between there was a
Okay, okay.
pause, but it's fine
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so Dr. Amit Samar's coaching helped,
Yeah. Sorry, you were telling
and
me about okay. Yeah. So you had your progressions, and how did you manage your nutrition? Hello?
yes, yes, nutrition is key in ultracycling, and you know better.
Right.
So, but there was a big difference when it comes to Deccan Cliffhanger versus what I do in Japan, because in Japan,
Okay.
we have a something called convenience stores at certain locations. which has everything like sports water to like energy gels, protein bars, and everything.
And
So here it was challenging. Can you hear me?
sorry, could you please repeat that? I think I lost you for a moment. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Now it's
So
fine.
in Japan, it was
Just
much
repeat that
convenient
again.
because of having convenience stores at certain locations. But in India, while Deccan Clifhanger, that was one of my challenge. So I brought some of my usual protein bars and gels from Japan, and I carried it with me. I had a bigger saddle bag, so I carried in that. And second thing is, I also studied the overall route virtually and tried to understand where could I get some restaurants and where could I get water to fill in and all that. So I marked those spots and created a document like this point I should get this and that. So overall, I planned my ride because being self-supported, I knew that I need to take care of myself. There is no crew behind me who will give
Yeah,
me all the nutrition, water, and everything. So that is how I
yeah. So
prepared.
being organized is very important as a
Yeah,
self-supported racer,
yeah,
right?
and that's what I learned already so many years in Japan. Very
Yeah.
meticulous, very particular, very detailed in the planning, and that
Mhm.
is quite natural now in my job. So it helped actually.
That's great. Great to know about that. So, yeah. Uh, are there any other races that you're looking at in India? And like, what did you find
Yeah.
like major difference between Japan and here riding?
Yeah, riding wise, like Japan, I will say that the riding is a little smooth in the sense of road conditions and traffic situations and all. But
So, do you have
environmentally, it
like
is
cycle lanes there, or you have to ride in the regular roads?
no, both. There are cycling tracks. Like from my home, there is a river, two rivers, because I stay at Tokyo and there's 4 kilometers, there is a sea. So, two big rivers. One is called Arakawa. And Japan, they knew how to utilize the land because they have short, like limited. So, they have created on the banks of river all sports facilities, including a long cycle track for around 200 kilometers.
Wow.
So, that is one thing. But brevets are happening on the road, like traffic
Oh,
road, and
okay.
highways are not allowed in Japan for cycles, so you cannot go on
Okay.
highways. But one thing challenging in Japan is that there is a always strong headwind, very strong resistance in the air, and always
Mm.
very very strong gust. So
Okay.
no matter how much you push, you get strong resistance from the air. So your average
Okay.
speed and your overall speed will be lower. But in India, I found that as an advantage. My average speed was higher, my speed was good because I had limited resistance. Also, if I leave Tokyo in just 50 kilometers, I have mountains. So
Yeah.
you eventually learn to climb more and more.
Yeah.
That helped me. So I didn't find climbs during this Deccan Cliffhanger much tough. In
Yeah.
fact, just 2 weeks back, I did Nagpur to Pachmadi. It's 250 kilometers, and there are four climbs, and total elevation gain was 2,500. So I
Nice.
like that climb more than flat road. So
Yeah.
that is the advantage from Japan point of view.
Yeah. Japan makes you a climber by default.
By default, you have no choice. You have to learn to climb more there. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
should say Japan is a good training ground, and India
Hmm.
is a good race ground. That is
Okay.
how
Oh, yeah.
I should look at.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very interesting perspective. And
yeah,
yeah. So, what are your next plans?
yeah. I am looking for few races. I have started exploring. Eventually, like one race you do, then you think of another one. So I started looking for few races from inside India, as well as then there are some races that Dr. Amit Samarth is organizing. Also, I might explore more on triathlon. I don't know, Ironman is one of the way to consider. But because I do cycling, I do running, and I know basic swimming. If I can enhance
Hmm.
my swimming, I think I can look for triathlon as well. And once I do some good LRMs, then I'll be more ready for race across America, race across India, kind of a big massive races. But for that,
Yeah.
I need to prepare a lot. That's for sure.
Well, all the best. It was really interesting talking to you. Thank you so much, Ashish, and wish you all the very best for your future ultra cycling adventures and races.
Thank you very much, Greeny, for this interview and having me to discuss and explain the Japan, India, all that perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.